Welcome to this technical corner where we'll be looking at the 5th axis machines, the U-series range from Takumi, supplied by Leader CNC Technologies. Now we're going to be looking at them from a technical perspective, Paul, starting with the UC range. Now we're going to be putting the video on now. Can you explain and talk us through the ranges, please?
Okay, well, yeah, I mean the UC series is what they kind of class as their entry-level machine. I mean, with Takumi, we've seen a few installations around the UK, but more often than not, we've seen these at exhibitions, haven't we? And it's been quite impressive to see the machines in action. But this is what they'd class as their entry level, and it's correct in the sense that lots of sales guys say, well, you know, a lot of engineers don't need full 5 axis simultaneous, and they don't. So this type of machine where you've got 4 simultaneous axes and 1 positional axis is a perfect fit for the majority of 5 axis requirements. So generally, if you're looking at 5 face machining, then this type of machine is a good option and a good good option.
Now, this particular configuration of 5th axis machine is built upon the H series, I believe.
Yeah, so the H series, now that's a dual column design, so you've got full support around the machining envelope. And that's important. That's important for stability. It's important to get the best in positional tolerance, but accuracy of the components as well. And also with the way that Takumi build their machines, they have like this step design where the spindle is supported across the bridge, and it's not just where they put the one linear guide on top of another, it's actually in a stepped motion, which means that it stops any deflection when you're machining. So for things like harder materials, hitting components harder, you are assured that you've got a superb machining environment. You can see here, this is how the Takumi machines are made. They're hand scraped. Now, you know, I've mentioned on a few technical corners that I've actually done this procedure, and I've actually seen the results that you get from making machines like this in terms of how long they last and how good they are.
With this double column configuration on a 5th axis machine, it will also give you a greater y-axis, and I assume that when using a trunnion style, most of the work is going to be with the trunnion being at 90 degrees, so that really comes in handy.
It does, and you've got greater access to the machine, the ergonomics, all of those features make the way the machine is built and designed perfect for 5-face machining, which is the UC range.
So UC range is great. Now we're moving on to the U range, sorry, Paul. Now this is full 5th axis simultaneous machining for them components that require it. Talk us through this configuration from Takumi.
Well, I think that's the biggest difference here. It's the 5-axis simultaneous motion. All of the other areas that we've spoken about the dual column design, all of those factors are incorporated into this machine as well. But I think what's quite interesting about this, when you start going into 5-axis simultaneous, there's so many incidents and accidents that you worry about that could happen. And the way the kinematics are on this machine and the way that is sort of synchronized with the control means that there are certain things within it that assure you don't get, you know, collisions, and you know, they help you with collision avoidance. Maybe not quite to the level that a CAM system would, or you know, another verification system, but they certainly put you in a position where you don't have to worry as much about how you program things, because having a bang on a machine like this can be of course expensive. But it's a full 5-axis simultaneous machining. I would applaud the access again to these machines, the way they're constructed, the way they're built for, you know, various applications in all industries with the Heidenhain controls.
So Heidenhain controls, you mentioned kinematics. This is extremely important, and it means that you can present the component anywhere on the machine bed, and it will be able to figure out the datum points. We did a video recently at Paddock Gears, Paul, where they're actually manufacturing gears on a Takumi 5th axis machine. Now, this really illustrates the accuracy of the Takumi 5th axis. These particular gears were previously manufactured on a dedicated gear cutting machine. Tell us how they can achieve this.
Well, this is the next level on, isn't it? This is where a lot of machine tool manufacturers are now trying to produce machines and provide machines that are capable of doing, you know, multitasking and different operations, and gear cutting obviously is one here. Now there's a lot that goes into it's not just the hardware, the software that needs to create the cycle and the paths for the machining, but to get the standards of accuracy that you need for some gear cutting, you need a machine that is ultra in its precision. And this machine does this in the sense that I'll talk about the dual column machine, the way you've got the stability of the spindle, also the fact that you don't get any thermal growth with these machines. They have the spindles on these have got cartridges which are they've got like a heat barrier between that and the casting, so there's no dissipation of heat around the casting, which would cause growth, which would affect the accuracy of gears. There's lots of these things. The fact that some of these gears might be harder materials as well, so they're more durable, the higher speed spindles. You know, you've got a 22 kilowatt spindle on this machine, but it's a direct drive, you know, big plus spindle. So all of those features all together give you the precision that you require to do things other than just milling.
Brilliant range of fifth axis machine tools, Paul. These are not the only range. They've also got the UB range, which maybe you can touch upon. And we can see the range come up on screen shortly, but large range.
Yeah, the fundamental difference with the UB range, which a lot of machine tool builders do, is when they start to get components that are a little bit bigger, they're a little bit heavier. Of course, you imagine putting them on a trunnion table and you're tipping the table, that essentially it's going to wear the machine at some point. It's just Mother Nature, it's science, you know. Whereas with some of the bigger machines, you can actually then take or move the spindle in order to whichever face the part is being machined or needs to be machined. Therefore, you're not continually moving. And here we see as an example here, this is obviously a 5-axis machine where if the component was much bigger on the table than what we're seeing there, you're not having to, you know, maneuver that on a trunnion. You're simply going to move the spindle to the component, which is a big different. It's a different way, a different configuration of 5-axis. But as we've seen here, you've still got this dual column mechanism with all of the features and benefits that we've mentioned for thermal stability, precision, and of course, you know, 5-face machining and simultaneous machining.
Paul, I think you've absolutely nailed everything that I've got on my sheet, so good. Thank you very much. So there you have it, the 5-axis machine tool range from Takumi, offered in the UK by Leader CNC Technology. They'll also offer you a turnkey package with any machine that you decide to buy.